Karyn, that was a very brave performance today. Can I just get your emotions after that game?
Yeah, I think it's exactly that. So proud of the girls all year and knew they'd, play like they did today. They've just got that grit about them. They fight till the final whistle. They're in it till that final whistle. So yeah, that's I guess emotions right now. Obviously, we're really disappointed. We believed in ourselves and to not get the result today, but couldn't be prouder of them all year. They improved each week and they're right in it to the end today.
Jamie Chapman was outstanding. There'll be a few questions about her later, but can I just ask about the first 20 minutes? Like, you totally dominated that stretch. Do you feel like you may have left a few points out there in that period?
Yeah, potentially. We did want a good start and we had all the field position and they were getting tired. We could see that and that was the goal, to keep as much possession and just get into that grind like we always do. So, maybe we did, but happy with that 8-0 and that's not the part that hurt us. It was that patch before half-time where they ran in those 3 tries, but we regrouped at half-time and they came out like they did in the second half. So, yeah, it's probably more the little moments in the game that hurt us.
What do you put that down to, Georgia? Is it too simple to blame the heat, or what do you put that little stretch down to just before half-time?
Yeah, like Murph touched on, like really proud of the efforts, and I just think like maybe a small lapse from us, or we just sat back and we just gave them far too much room to move, and with someone like Tamika Upton like allowing that much space and opportunity, like she is a class player and we did give her too much. Just came back to bite us a little bit there, but it showed such grit to be able to come back in the second half and turn things around, and it does show the grind and how relentless our group is. It just wasn't enough today.
On a bit of a better note, Karyn, you've definitely shown that female coaches can take teams to finals. Do you think that could possibly inspire other sporting clubs to get more female coaches in the game? Yeah,
definitely. Definitely a huge opportunity for females to come through. I speak about it wasn't too many years ago that whether it's players and now we've got referees out there, and there's a lot of great female coaches already, and I'm lucky enough to be sitting here today on a grand final day and coaching these great girls. But I'm sure a lot of females will be definitely coming through, and that's really exciting.
Georgia, we've seen how far the team's come in the space of just 12 months. Do you think the pieces are now there to establish the next few years and take that next step to join those elite teams?
Yeah, I think we've been elite. We've made the grand final, and deservedly. We've shown that, week to week. There was a little bit of a patch there where there were some lessons through those losses, but I think we've come leaps and bounds and really proud of the season we've put out, and I think it's just building blocks for what's to come. Third year in the competition, we've got a roster of great players and even better people. So, we look forward to maybe an off-season just to refresh and reset and reflect on what we've gone through our 2023 season. But, then we can look forward to 2024 where our roster, somewhat stays the same and we can keep building from what we've learnt today.
Karyn, you've blooded so many young girls this season. How much better will they be next year?
Oh, definitely. I think at the start of the year, it was exactly that. Thought would give them a good experience this year with these leaders in our team, and potentially they'd have a few games along the way. But to have 5 of the 18-year-olds out there today, and plenty of lessons for everyone, but those girls particularly to have that grand final experience in year 1, it will be such a big learning curve for them. And they've got massive futures, those girls.
What about for yourself? What have you learnt from the grand final, basically the grand final experience and getting there?
Oh, it's been a massive experience to, the past few weeks, I suppose. Essentially an elimination final when we went down to the Raiders a few weeks ago, into, big week against obviously the Roosters last week, and into a grand final week that, of course, I haven't experienced and a lot of the players haven't experienced. And I think we've all handled that really well. We'll go back and reflect on that. But I think the grand final week and preparation and everything, it's been really good. So, I'll get some things out of it for sure. But, I think as a whole, it's been a really good experience.
Murph, did you see a game like that coming from Jamie? Such a starring performance out there on the left.
Yeah, I did. Chapo is a big game player, and she's massive, and she had that bit of a slow start to the year with a few little injury concerns, and then the HIA. So she, ever since mid-season, Chapo's been building, and she had a great game today. But no, she's a big game player, so I probably thought she'd have that in her.
Obviously, it was a pretty brutal 70 minutes. Both teams looked like they'll basically run out their feet by the end of it. But how much of a factor was the heat in the game? Because it's, one of the things that everyone spoke about before.
Yeah, I think, it was hot, but we've played in conditions similar before. I think it's just grand final footy, it's finals footy, so the heat turns up just in terms of like the product that's put out in terms of the footy, and it was relentless, it was back and forth, and there was a lot of fight in it. So I think, the conditions play a part, no matter if it's hot or cold or rainy or wet, whatever it might be, but, finals footy is always going to be a bit of a battle.
Just on a personal note, not quite the result that you wanted today, but you guys have played pretty phenomenally throughout the season. You've got fans across the Tasman, both here and New Zealand. What has this season meant to you and the fans alike? Oh, it's meant heaps. We just look at the group alone, and just to be working under and alongside Murph, and then you've got the likes of a Steph Hancock and a Brittany Brayley-Nardi and Karina Brown, who have been, paved the way for so many years in our game, to then take under the wing like a young Riley and Sienna and Destiny and all of our 18-year-olds. Like, it's just such a beautiful blend of footy players and even better people, as touched on before. And I think just, to be competitive on the footy field at the back end of the season is so enjoyable, but, equally the company of the group and just how much fun we've had and the efforts we've put in. And we're really proud of that. And, we have a trademark in Junkyard Dog, and that's what we have been, and that's what we'll continue to do as our group continues to stay together. And Murph, same question for you. What's it been like, and especially what's it like having Georgia on your team as well?
I can't give Georgia a big enough rap. We met each other probably 12 months ago, and I'd known about Georgia, and I came in to the Titans, and she's just been absolutely amazing. She's a true leader, and in all my time in rugby league, I can honestly say she's right up there with the best. The way she is professional, on the field, but the things you don't see off the field that she does with this group, true leader, that they follow her, they listen to her, she leads by example. She's so good, whether it's Steph, who's been around forever and a day, Brito, Goose, Karina, that is, sorry, or the younger group. She's just got that way with them, and she's just made, particularly my job, I'm thankful for her so much, what she's done with this group.
Murph, just a word on Lauren Brown. It feels like the switch of the halves has really suited her so well. Is that something that, I know next year's a long way away, but is that something that potentially could sustain for years to come? No, she's contracted long term here.
Yeah, it's actually a really good position we've got in our roster, where we've got some quality players in those positions in the spine, and we've got, as you see, unfortunately with Fui's injury, Loz went back into 7, but we've got some pretty handy halves in Shantae and Sienna sitting there as well. And obviously Brito in there at 9 had a fantastic year. So at the start, Loz potentially were looking at 9, but we have got that position next year. We'll go away and have a look at where we're at, but definitely have a look at what combinations, but we have got that luxury of a lot of depth in our squad there.